Hi everyone, welcome back. Ford benchmarking Mustang Mach-E rival Polestar 2. So Ford has been caught testing the Polestar 2 over the past couple of months. Back in December 2021, Ford authorities spied the Tesla Model Y performance in the hands of the Blue Oval, followed by the Lucid Air in March 2022, and the Tesla Model S played just a few months later in June. So now the spies have caught yet another rival EV being benchmarked by Ford, the Polestar 2, which competes with the Ford Mustang Mach-E. This is based on mostly the price and the battery range. So at first glance, one might be hard-pressed to call the Ford Mach-E and the Polestar 2 rivals. After all, the Mustang Mach-E is a utility crossover vehicle, while the Polestar 2 competes as a sedan. However, they compete in the same price brackets. The Polestar 2 carries a starting price of $48,000. The Mach-E carries a price of $43,895. And that's for the base selected trim, meaning their respective lineups have a lot of overlap between them. The Polestar is capable of 270 miles from a full range. This is all while outputting a 476 horsepower at peak output. The Mach-E, on the other hand, is capable of producing 266 horsepower and 346 horsepower including the GT trim, and offers over 300 miles of driving range from a single charge. Now at first glance, I always thought that the Mustang Mach-E looks very similar to the Tesla Model Y. They're both crossover SUVs. They're not gigantic big SUVs, they're a little bit in between. Aside from driving dynamics and other engineering quirks, Ford could be benchmarking the Polestar sedan to learn more about its Google-based operating system, which provides a range of Google apps and services that has been integrated into the vehicle system. This includes media players, navigation, and hands-free vehicle system controls with Google Assistants. The Blue Oval plans to implement its own Google-based OS in its upcoming vehicles, offering a familiar Google app and a wide range of third-party apps as well. The Google OS has only been confirmed for the 2023 Ford F-150 Lightning so far, but it's entirely possible that it could be on the way for the Mustang Mach-E. It makes sense after all. Ford would be interested in studying how Polestar sedan handles with its Google OS system in order to make sure smooth development of its own product. That, ladies and gents, I will admit makes complete sense. It makes perfect sense. Now, it was quite recent that I made a video on this topic that Mercedes were also caught testing the exact same vehicle, the Polestar 2 sedan. I made a full video on this subject, that Mercedes must be considering Polestar as a true competitor. Now, at the end of the day, we don't really know how many other companies are testing Polestar vehicles, but at this moment, I wouldn't be surprised if all of the big vehicle manufacturers are testing Polestar vehicles. These include VW, Audi, the list goes on, but I would not be surprised. Now, obviously, Volvo is known for making brilliant vehicles, and that carries over to the translation of the Polestar company. So it makes complete sense that other companies will try to understand the Polestar 2 as much as they can, because they will be competing directly to this vehicle in the future, and in the near future they'll be competing against the Polestar 3 SUV. They will soon be competing against the Polestar 4 SUV, that's a crossover SUV, one that could perfectly compete with the Tesla Model Y. And in the next 3 years we will receive the Polestar 5, a GT Sport sedan. Car like that could compete with the Porsche Panamera, as Polestar likes to say, but personally I think it could also compete with the Tesla Model S, Tesla Model S Plaid, and the Porsche Taycan and Taycan Turbo S. So yes, in my opinion, there could be a handful of companies who are studying Polestar to learn more about this wonderful company who's making cars that are looking completely different, and the drivability is also quite enhanced. Now that's not all. Polestar 2 performs quite well in the Moose test. The Polestar 2 has a low center of gravity thanks to its floor-mounted battery pack, making it an ideal candidate for Moose tests. But how does it fare against similar vehicles in the test? That question was answered by KM77.com in their latest video, in which they put the car through its paces. So once again, the Polestar being tested not by a car company but instead by a media company. and they're just testing out the drivability. Brilliant to see, and I recommend you checking out this video. Let's just have it play in the background. Now the article continues to say the first run had an entry of 81 kilometers, that's 50 miles an hour. And it saw the car hitting the outside curb to turning in, running so wide it wasn't able to complete the course. By lowering the entry speed to 74 kilometers, 46 miles per hour in the next test, however, the Polestar was able to improve greatly, staying completely within the course with minimal understeer. It continues to say Polestar 2 wasn't able to meet the 77 kilometers benchmark doesn't mean that it performed poorly. For instance, 74 kilometers maximum success speed matched the Mini Countryman SE and the BMW iX and was good enough to beat the Tesla Model X. Wow, that's surprising. The Jaguar I-Pace and the VW ID.4. Additionally, the car only came 1 kilometers beyond the Sport Audi e-tron GT, as well as 4 kilometers beyond the Porsche Taycan Turbo S. So that's actually really impressive considering that this is Polestar's first proper vehicle. Admittedly, their first vehicle was a Polestar 1, but that was in a hybrid vehicle, limited edition. The Polestar 1 is not meant for mass production, so I don't really count it as Polestar's first real vehicle. Their real first vehicle is the Polestar 2. That's the vehicle that they've sold over 50,000 models, and they continue to sell at least 21,000 models this year alone, and that's only in the first half of this year. So considering that this is kind of like their first car, it handles surprisingly well. Just from looking at the vehicles going through those cones, that is really impressive stuff from Polestar. This is a ranking for Polestar, the classification, and those are some of the vehicles that the Polestar beat on that driving test, going through the cones. Really impressive stuff. By the way, if you're wondering what the BMW i4 looks like, this is the BMW i4. Polestar beat this car in the same test. I don't know about you, but I'm seriously impressed by that result. So good job to Polestar. Taking a look at this similar test, these are the results. Look at that. Completely different in handling. Let's have a look at this test. Polestar did the same test. So ladies and gents, that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.